Doso yela gongge padarawa rikbe dorje shalang shanthara panen tave lama Rinpoche dage jewara bende denyon kadin shembe gone jezon de kosong toge ngodo sado so. Terchen Barway Dorje Ling Baso Tambat me Yeshe Laji Jawar Rapa James Anu Tsewang Terchen Barway Dorje Gyamtso Gyamtso so Padma Terchen Barway Dorje Tang Tela Sobig Tamba Mamoke Tene Yeshe Laji Jawasana Yeshe Laji Sen Nyame Tabor Mushiro.
Mare. Yeshe Laji de Tsewang de Zenge da Kashigi Sena Kuisere, Kashigi Sena grandson, Dana de Chedonsa Data de the Chin So Cheshu de Chinse Wombo Kugoma de Tsewang de Zen Ku Jema Tapaki Yangse to Tsigiore. Just the largest Jacobs or largest and Mempala segment de Jarik la Segio.
Yeah, I just Jawa Yimbala Napa. Jay said that they Konig said it was Yeshe. I know Pema Tsewang, they can short of Niji, stuck Pema Tsewang, they can Konig Ranke, Pena Gyamtso, Kande, Tanyam Dabo Kande, Chong Kangate, Gorgeous Power, they Yab and Gorgeous Power. Namongoro, Sita Namongoro Senan, Lama Chantalos, say, Jigda, Yake, the Patin, Staje, Jigla, couldn't Yawar Kavik in the Patademba, She Tambo, Human Lundici, Tatambu Capsula, Tayamtin. Teacher the Yap, you make a lunatic nowadays. Part of something not the young, part of the Lambe, Chandala Tapu, which is all the something knowledge of Bagagon, young one. Tom Tamal, him but Nello things, then Tamal tell a touch sugar Nello. That name Nello Kanyam, but they don't stop bottom get so again the Tamal, but the
Nimpu Nello de
new body. So tende particulars that will sort of them, but that on the go choose some stone shin garden chewa, that will give particular ne canshal shongyong chongyalti. Lam Yeto Nela number 2, Nyam cannot lay Chabamba, Takonki, Kanjar Shongyong, and the Taranki, Gekodo Nelokan, but the Tamjete, Tene Lam Jedem da Doren Las of Gum de Capsula, taken Nil, none of Gum Capsula, Tanyam Kade, Shawate, Jana, you know, the Lord province, Tegata Gasandu.
Chicken, I ignore you. Tamal Ningbo, or Tamal Ningbo, then Tamal Ningbo, all also. The next group of songs is a dialogue in songs between Terchen Barway Dorje's eldest son, Pema Tsewang, and himself. So it begins with Pema Tsewang's description of his experiences in song and an expression of his appreciation of his father's kindness, and then we'll continue with the Terchen Barway Dorje's answer. The Lord Vijayadra's eldest son, so Terchen Barway Dorje's eldest son, was named Pema Tsewang Dechin Chokdrup. And he was praised and recognized by the Terchen and Dharmaraja Urjin Chokdra Dechin Lingpa, so by Terchen Barway Dorje's root guru, Chokdra Lingpa, and by other holy beings as the rebirth of Prince Lerje. Prince Larje is, according to some sources, the grandson, and according to others, the youngest son of Trisong Detsen. In this song, Pema Tsewang offered his experiences and realizations. The song begins Namo Guru, homage to or prostrations to the Guru. Single Lord whose deeds are beyond measure. So he praises Terchen Barway Dorje as his single Lord or single protector because he is his all-sufficient root Guru, and whose deeds and kindness to him in particular are beyond measure. First, you generated this illusory body of mine. Since Terchen Barway Dorje was his father, that's pretty clear. Then you supported me with material resources. The word for supported here means the way you bring up a child, so he took care of him. Ultimately, you showed me the ordinary essence. Here, ordinary is a positive term, not a pejorative one. To my only father of such kindness, I offer this spontaneous song of experience of the path of generation and completion.
Lu de chen Yeshe ji jin kor che zang polo do de tong che de ko cha ja tang ye gi tong tong sa lu se na nga na to ge tang na no men ge je de be ge lun de ta te ta bu de nyam ne so yong ka so la ta te che tang ge lu re de yin na yang tang na to ge ju le sha ta ge lu ta bu ta nyomon tang dembe ke luta ba mayin pa de chen Yeshe ji jin khor che se na ta one lu lai jin khon la ta da ye me pa la pe na ta ko na jot so ba se na yan da ta nyam ne phe da dem ba yang da ba chong me ka so la ran yin ge lu lai jin khon la ko na ra ne so ban da wo te la de chen Yeshe ji jin khor che so man da Sang Holo do de Tongcher de Go Chagjatan Yigin Tiwan Tong Ta Te Yendola Ta Lula Tanghol Mambo Yowade Ta Gangate Rembe Yendo Tane Remba Yendo like Kone Combatant Rover Castle Atene Go Tang Chagjatan Yindogin Tiwan La Sopa Toma Ta Lula Nga Sen Ngana Labdo to what Teta Bode Teta Amarakonga nga tacha dorji depate ne don me pa nga jita stanga thlado nga te tacha ta dorji gita sen ta nga te ke ta la sozuki yidam ki himba depate la tene remation dola ene kora ta nga ke rangye de churba senaya ro ta kora kanse go yenaya ne don me pa nga jita sata ne kora rangye ga nawa tamji la jagba tamji nga chento Yeshe ga raba sene nga na siyo nga wa o te tabal ta sunga yore nyalong dong nga jita junche tawa songa dong da tela koran che njongwa ge da yina ya rong o te hien do la tene da namana kare yina ya rong rani nga tawa yina ya rong te yong su do ba chang ji te ta nga ge koran da la jon do ba ka su la tene koran chena pa song kana yoba te tam ji te nga ge da la jo wa tang Aton dorje nande yang su ko sta ton ne lo la tato ta dorje ta bu ke tingen ta la ne ne ta ka sa ro ne lo yang ta pa ngon ke ba te ta bu ko su mai sa do
Bien sare.
ko sem nom to chu ku yolang te ta sem da la che ta ke ngon ko ra ngaran so la nyomo ke nom to ma bo Shandra Vakasula, Tene Koran Yamongi, Jesula, Tene Namdot Soma Yena, Then you monk one and you do your mother ticket. My by a Sam ranking a tug nelote that num dong or chukur somba again son. They in the castle of Sam num dong one again. My job and Nello num to yanta bakai mate. Chuku ranking so never chena. Chuku yolante. Sajata hindi me paro. Statella pa. Kora. Sal yagyuta, yagyuta. Tene Shambazon, Sunday Yagula Saba Meba, Kona Rayi, Getaba Rayi, to Kawai, Somada. Jinang Gun, Yeshe Robate, Ska, now at the Tamtete, Kona Tabage Rayi, Kona Yeshe Robbe Rayi, the Kang Chong, de Decena, Pameco, Ska, Chumata Yons to what the subject. That they were Chimbo, young topic Nello, they were Chimbo Nello, and Palme Baco inside
Charumepa, my
a part, not the young party.
Oh, Barme, Kunzang de Chen, Barme, Charumepa, Mare, Barme.
Mepala, Takoro, Patachi Mason, can't have a chill. Pame go your Taji Semna Tetana Taji Cambo install Tayol Taji Sem Tela Patayum Capsula Taji Semna Patayum Capsula Taji Cambo install said the Tanam dog and all Telangone Tanegata Sem Lata Kona Yane, Sem Wall, Yan Gonyum Capsula, Tato Tella Sem Koraya Ranking, get on by Yimbichena, Tella Taji Cambo singing Meva, Taji Cambo Yingso Tobam, Taji Cambo Yingso Yaswanda Wachila, Kosawanda, Return la Tabu, Return and Tabu Tower Shut. Nyamjela and you member to Siriton, Regionate, the Tomatella, Tabu the Tawata, Nyamjela, Rango member to Nyamja said, Digakala, Nyamja Zoari, sinking the water, Digakala, Nyamja Zoa, Marie, sinking the That Nyamjala, Rango member to Gombala, Nyamne, Chetana. Gomje in the buying Sierra Stagum Tela Yone so you capsula, take a tang, get a tambo capsula, na gomki, that land the nature gom, ten gom tan the nature gom, 7 walkie tight, ten the younger yorete. One tane guitar gomba on the churu capsula, gomja gomji. Yons Savanda watching Yamjin, they don't want in the younger wonders. They in the capsule Gomji in them by Yings a yard, somebody in the someone you manda. And then the lady in the park. Take it to Yando.
Take the Yellow. Inside Ella.
The Lama.
Gomja Zamba Yingsu Yal Sane, then it did Chaloka de Chatsama Drogo, Nyomala Junje Meparo, de Chatsama de Zikchi Shi de Drogo.
Nyomala Junje Meparo, show. Can't have the show.
Chung Chung, Chu Londro Zangya, no giant Londro, Chu Londro, giant Champorgo, giant.
No. Giant Champorgo. Chopala Yamne Chetan, Jopa Lanyam, Zamba Yin Shore, Kanjong Lapang. Palang me pati, Kunzang Japa, Yambarko, Kunzang Japa Yambarko,
Kunzang.
Kunzang.
Kunzang. Oh, Kunzik.
Kunzang.
Kunzang mare. Kunzik chapa yambago. Kunzik.
Tate Padu Gasa,
Oh, de padagana.
out of Gasan.
No, kashe no do. The second stanza, well, the song is not really divided into stanzas. You can sort of think of each 4 lines as a stanza by topic. So the next bit is a description in 3 stanzas, 3 4-line stanzas, of Pema Tsewang's realization of the true nature of body, speech, and mind. Now, when he refers to the body, he begins with the words, this body. Rinpoche says he's talking about, our ordinary body, what we normally call the body of full karmic ripening. But he's speaking of a realization of the body's true nature and an experience of that nature as well. This body is the great mandala of the wisdom of great bliss. So he has realized the true nature of the body, not impure as we perceive it, but a great mandala of the wisdom of great bliss. And he continues, in the cities of the channels, chakras, and the avaduti, the central channel, I have seen the bodies of deities and the garlands of syllables. So he makes it clear that he has not only realized the nature of the body, but actually seen evidence of its true nature. And then he turns to speech. The Vajra repetition, speech like an echo, is mantric sound without abiding, coming, or going. I understand its unceasing vibration of pure speech to be the expanse of the ultimate Vajra sound. In other words, he has realized in realizing the nature of sound, he has not only realized that sound is sound emptiness, but he has realized that in its true nature, it is pure. It is the sound of mantra, the natural or spontaneous Vajra repetition. So what Rinpoche said, what he's talking about here is what we refer to briefly when we say the body as deity, sound as mantra, thoughts as wisdom. But he's describing it, the experience and realization of it in detail. He continues, oh no, I did that, okay. And then he turns to mind. My mind's thoughts, the upsurge of Dharmakaya, are beyond removal, addition, and craving. We are normally or often afraid of our thoughts because we know that our thoughts often contain kleshas, and that when we are come under the power of the kleshas carried by thoughts, then we accumulate negative karma. But if the nature of thought is seen, as we say in the lineage supplication, the nature of thought is Dharmakaya, which means that a thought is really the upsurge of Dharmakaya, the same way that a wave on the surface of the ocean is simply the upsurge of the water of which that ocean is made. Therefore, if they're recognized, they do not require removal. No thoughts need to be added, and they are not objects of craving. It is when we crave thoughts or cling to thoughts that we perpetuate them. Whatever appears is the great play of wisdom. I understand whatever arises to be unceasing great bliss. Apparently, I misread unceasing as beyond action. I don't know why, but just looked at the same copy that I used. But anyway, so if you're following in the text and you have a pen or pencil, cross out beyond action and change it to unceasing. The next section, he goes through his realization of view, a meditation, and a conduct. And he begins with view. When I view this mind that views objects, the viewer is lost in space. When he looks at his own mind, the same mind that normally looks at things other than itself, looks at objects, but when he brings that mind to look at itself, the viewer disappears. The viewer disappears because he is seeing the mind as it is. And Rinpoche said, and it is empty. So therefore, when seen as it is, not only is there no object other than the viewer, but there is no viewer. The viewer disappears into the expanse, or as he says, is lost in space. Awareness emptiness without center or limit arises. I have realized that meditation and subsequent attainment are beyond alternation. For most of us, there is a great deal of difference between meditation, which we practice formally, and what's called subsequent attainment or post-meditation. The type of mindfulness and so forth we employ is different. But for Pema Tsewang, there is no difference, because in his recognition of his mind viewing itself, or gained through his mind viewing itself, there is no difference between meditating formally and being in post-meditation. And now he turns to the practice of meditation itself. When I practice meditation, fixation on the act of meditation dissolves in space. In the beginning, meditation involves intention. We intend to meditate. We intend to exercise and heighten mindfulness and so on. But for Pema Tsewang, there is no need for such an intention. And therefore, in the act of resting his mind in itself, the act of meditating disappears. So there is no fixation on it. The nature is unceasing. I understand spontaneously present great openness. The great openness he's describing here is the boundless spaciousness of the mind looking at itself. When I practice the conduct, fixation on the act of conduct is lost in space. There is no relinquishment or remedy needed, no matter what arises. I understand this to be the conduct of the omniscient. For some reason, when I read that, I thought, I don't know how I got wisdom out of conduct. It's quite clear. It's not one of the parts that's hard to read. But I evidently didn't see the letter I, so I thought Kunzik was Kunzang. So it's not the wisdom of Samantabhadra, it's the conduct of the omniscient.
Penaya Boche, some Tawayana, that should have you. Mambo so Sange in takes the tending cogres. Te mato chegeta, Ngone zo Yunkenda in Tan Dunzuke Gomge Nelo Tang. Terchen like Kong, don't be sure que quando don't have what in a coach making son that but young and wish watching him son that what then they shagged to us. Now at the shag days. They look after la tandela, they the Sarhin that was a Shawayana. Chetank and Anan soke Pena look at Lagombi yore. Nag hat daggy yore. Eating in the neg yores. Then that tambo or lopion zone. Then the soy on the capsule and lalagom. Nag hat da. Eating in the never take lam la lopion zoyores. Te rembe yendola. Come yon with a capsule. Tato comba lega carre in a gomba my comba in comba on the chuba in the lavadavas. Te and the Zangbu lega in a wrong. Nyembe lega in a wrong. Carre in a comia. That corner mandawa chain. Message surely young somebody. Te in the capsule attack home somebody. Come daughter capsule at the Koran new flag ranking. Tell a Kagale Baba, not harking ranking. Yet thing the ranking, get net to banda what the younger yore, the younger capsule attack. Ganato and Gare Koran choking Gare like Yum Jin days and some days. Yum Jack cup, Jitop cup double, Ganasola and the yores, Tambo gum capsule, Yum Jack and Galan. Flat the shot at the Matuptan, I can never go Nayaron, Doma gum Nayaron. Kare yedam la gomba yana te sha atom matupta dan tobro nam na tin pada le chimu lep tobro mazo ya cha do la gong jo jap tene chen khong go yore te ngone ge komban thar chemba chuma yina tene nyom ja da jedap sange ten ya yore ran ge gomba kab yana ya rong magam ba kab yana ya rong ran ge khora te ge ngala ne to ba Tenda bota con number reason the logic of Mathona, shook him song yore, song yore la, tan that I was an answer the Chunya tan and Mevachi it is another one in the Marais. On a taneg tacona, so suge, shut up the thunduke, John King, Yena, Suge, Yena, and Tande, Cora, that our young Chocho, that our young Tumkin. Shadari Mato Chikiya, Tawa Yeni, Koda, Yonka Mevanda Mari, Johnson Salat in the Tana Shoking Ake, Kase, Nelson Gare Hamago Wanda Shonaya, Tariki Capsula, Tening Aranke, Nelson Solo Gendola, Hakoto Mendoza, Ina, Tadele, Malana, Mache, but the young show somebody. How long be the other Zoya, the Shadaki Karchin body, sending a shoes on us. Oh, that I was that told a Yaya Shidaka Kalchen body, and then that would mambo everything.
You'll remember that this morning when we began, I mentioned that some of these songs are designed for the use of advanced practitioners. And in this case, this dialogue with Pema Tsewang's description of his own experience and realization and his father's responses is a case of that. Some of the songs seem to reach us where we are, and we may feel, well, I need this one. This one's one I'm going to have to look at again. And then others will seem so advanced to us that they sound almost meaningless because they don't mean anything that we can really understand. If you've studied a lot of Dharma, you will probably understand a little bit of this song. But if not, if you're new, it's going to seem, its topics are going to seem so distant as to seem almost meaningless to you. Basically, the song is that we're dealing with here is describing a high level of familiarity. In our meditation, we meditate on our own body as a deity, and we recite mantras, and we try to rest our mind in samadhi. And we call this process meditation. But as we say, meditation is not really meditation, it's familiarization. And the idea is to familiarize yourself with the perception of your body as a deity, to familiarize yourself with the recognition of the nature of speech as mantra, and so on. Well, as is obvious from his song, in which he describes his experiences, Pema Tsewang had achieved a very high level of familiarity or familiarization, so that there was no difficulty for him, as he reports in the song, in naturally, spontaneously seeing his body as a deity, his speech as mantra, and his mind as wisdom. The state that he's describing is one that is often referred to as the mixture of meditation and post-meditation. Up to that point, there is a great deal of difference between meditating and not meditating. But for him, at the level he's reached, there is no longer any difference. When we practice, we try to visualize ourselves as the deity. Sometimes the image is clear, the identification is strong. At other times, our minds feel torpid or distracted, and that is not the case. But when you become completely familiar with that process, you achieve a state that is described here in this song. So essentially, this song, as distant as the level of expertise it describes may seem to us, is worth our study, because it gives us a clear idea of where we are going, where we are headed. And the level that Pema Tsewang achieved is not something that is ultimately beyond our reach in any way. Certainly, gaining that level requires diligence, focus, intelligence, faith, but we can approach it with aspiration rather than intimidation. As I mentioned this morning, when we face something like this and we think, I don't understand this, what are they talking about here? We can recognize that it is something to which we can aspire, and that we hope to achieve that or even better.
Pena magic lab jatamake pachik thamba hangjela toba phuya lege thek yode thek na na song yode je renga nyen sen khoy uzim gom nyong ma le junhe me pata sore ta ngara san da wa jin na pe to chen ne yak pa chen gom ne ko la de ne gom thinking ke magic you know ta in the gom yak pa jawin do samban da bun do she yong ge ma to tene ko da nyen sen khoy wa da sem thinking je wa a ta in the khare Lama ne yak pa re se ge ma to thana ngama ne ta je janya thinking da sam nam da yong ge ba tena ya ta nange ne lo ke to je salam ge go ne da yo ma ne tene ta de pena ma chi lap ti do me song re je renga nyen sen khoy uzim gom nyom ma le junhe me bata senata gom na junhe me pe ta re ma to ngaran to te ga nyom ge ne de wa da wa ta wa ni na ma re ngaran to ge mram den da wa cha ya ba yana ya melen te chen shin pe ti wa ko ro zem den ke ko ma nga ge ngwa she ji melen te chen ye ga la song re so the ta so down oh my god so today Lama ngi me dan Thomas so ta che go sho ke zem den do tan ye ka sho ko che go ta yeng do sen yo wan do sen che thi so Said Gausala, caught the let that she not prisons, she not something and Yazum.
근데 제가 토선 토마선.
Tebet of
어때?
what that in Mr. that in Lake Lamontan Toman was down with what that did that would take or anything on Lake Yom Jin, they thank him. That can't come to Mason on a Tannig. Tombi Nello to thanking Lama on the town where she died, your money.
The state in which meditation and post-meditation are mixed is what Machik Labdran was referring to in her praise of her guru, Padma Sanjay, when she wrote, Lord, sometimes you sleep all day and night. This is evidence that your natural meditation is unceasing. And usually when we see a practitioner sitting up in a good posture and not moving and looking the way we expect practitioners to look, then we're impressed and we think, surely that person, that Lama, whatever, has good meditation. But if you went to see someone like Padma Sanjay, who was just sleeping 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you would think, oh, he's supposed to be such a great guru, but I don't see anything except that somebody's sleeping. And this has happened in our own time. Kondro Rinpoche's father, Minling Chichen Rinpoche, was famous for the amount he slept. And one Rinpoche said someone he knew went to have an audience with him, and he got there in the morning and was waiting for hours until it was almost lunchtime for Rinpoche to wake up, for Minling Chichen Rinpoche to wake up. And they kept on saying, no, he's not awake yet. No, he's not awake yet. Hold on. And then he woke up and they said, okay, quickly go in. He's awake now. And then pretty soon they came in with his meal, and after he'd eaten, he went back to sleep. And so I asked Rinpoche, I said, did the person actually get to see him or not? He said, well, very briefly. And so we can't really tell what's going on with somebody who's achieved that level of realization. We just see a sleeping person. We wouldn't know what they were really doing.
Tambe Yoris, make it a more nang. Tag the more chessening into Tambe Yoris. Then Hama Milarepa the pep de Gapsala. Gomachela, come back here to you, Kuyo, some devaris. That take it. Chana Patala, Lagenda, what you got that, Tlanye the Oris. Tenemala today is them that the Lagan take it and then sing out the sound of the town, Konana, Bajuki over Nandua, Lagenda was a what I like in Mamma, Tombadova. Then the Koran Baju, the Hia, taking Wallan, the Gata, Gangwalan, the Gata, Chentare, agenda. No, total con the gas and the gas and the gas, the Koro Chena 10, some of it down, then they call some of the town. Shocking her, Sadi Alan, then they call Canon Gajor, then they can call dead and do what. That Mela take them didn't do them did. Gaching, the Yashin, I choke what a chobaya, what you take a love or that. Chopaya, what you started things on that, then they should have yes, you know. Then they Milarepa, Tanga to you that and there are Yagan that does. But you then go the gun, but I could some of Tante, Kanga son, the Teneti, Sego tend to take in shot the son, then they got the house on that, so the fight and then shut up race on the wa. That thing got it, I think that was
the chickbo de Robjone. Rabjung Dengido, Rabjung, ko Rabjung Yembala, the North Yore, Denson. Dana ko tata de.
Tata ko
George Chuloke, the Mingmalana, George Chulo gave us inside. We have a saying about this, that a tiger wears its stripes on the outside, but humans wear our stripes on the inside. You can't really tell what's going on with someone. And there's a story about Milarepa that at one point on his journeys, he spent the night sleeping in the dilapidated ruins of a house, a building. And also sleeping there that night was some guy who may have, according to some versions, may have been a monastic. But anyway, he was just a regular sort of guy. And Milarepa just went to sleep. And the other guy sort of stayed up all night thinking about his cattle, his livestock, about how many of this and how many of that he had and what price he could get for them and which ones he should slaughter and how many, whether he should sell them whole or by parts and how much he'd get for this hind quarter and how much he'd get for this forequarter and all this kind of stuff and the process. And he was up all night just thinking about this stuff. And then whether he went to sleep a bit or not, he got up early in the morning and started doing his morning chanting. And Milarepa was still sleeping. And when Milarepa finally got up, the guy said to him, he said, you look like a yogi or a practitioner of some kind. You really should get up earlier and practice. That's the way of a Dharma person. And Milarepa looked at him and said, well, yeah, I kind of slept in this morning. I don't always sleep in this late, but I was up all night last night thinking about how much I could get for this cattle and how much I could get for that cattle and whether I should sell them by parts. And of course, the guy realized that Milarepa, even in his sleep, was aware of everything he was thinking.
Bardor Jume Tonjer to Sam Dami and Toby Yidatal, that pardon Ravachila, and a Pegoina, Pardog Jumega Tonjer de la Sam Dami de Tondoveke Yidata, Sam Dan into Pardor the Tower in the contract of Maris. Tobeke Yidata and Tarsumari to that Tara. Yonder fly. Sananke, Sita Tabaki, Jumne Khan, and Natakona, and learn the Tani ranking fly Sanan to call you Kanda Botilla, that on the Yam Yin day, don't the flag Sanante, on the Luyana and Ramena and that on the Korean and around the Takora, that flag Sananta Matavati, Yosarava.
Let it.
And lay yonder fly Sananke. Trojo Jotan Nahindo, Trojo Pai Yane, that Leon like Sana Telatene, Tene Toba number not soba, Tene Jejuke, Tene Jotan Davos in Danjuke, Ta Paduke, Nella Penna, Trojo Son, Jotan Nasoba, Nenjo, Nehin, and then Rembek and Dabanda about the corner Yugan dogs. Che, now. The same year of his now reporting Ponger Mebartos, Yomjela, Pantham Mebarco, Stalaco Savosong and Coterando, Pantham Mebarco, same sort of La Palang Travel Hill, Jel Honde Chula, Landorme. Lojela, Lodi Tavatang, Logis, Yapachi, in Zong de Tatelacora, Lodi Tavares, Lojela, Lodi Tavatang, Chamela Rano, Juminto, Stakaya, Tini Charme Patella, Rano, Juminto, Kanshala, Gadab Travel Course, Drongdon,
Drongdon,
Tandon in do.
Dongdon, they get Dongdon years on the Jersey.
Allah, Chu Tandon, Love Chicken. Bar, Stack, Yedon, Tab, Love, this, that Chu Tandon. Then Gajapana Lassa Bazo de Chokare, you must come to the Tandon. Slovaki Chicken, the Pona Police. You don't tab love this. Young topic, Nipek, Teni, Tella, so the topic love the Tawa telling Nipek, Tawa tell love tenatea police. In the Nawa Yaral ne, no semla is mebacos, tapena zanging is on Zemba, dagging is on Zemba la sopege, in the gay Nawala. Tene jarar sewa inata indig nawa de kora ni metri samanda segmar jarar ne na semla ni semeba ko sta kora semge ngola tene kora yote yons do batam jete ni semeba ko lam de ton cha ke nyo ne so lam de ton changi nyo ne so Lam de don't changing units that changing units so they don't the but told you shit. Image concash thinking ne nam dog cambos signatal that you make concash sem mayewa nelo young topic none that you go in segment. Then nam dog tak re marin rig mandi ya maya singita because nam dog tak kambot tak signatals and the make yamni yang ne san the mata tawan the ma mepe yamni the yang ne and the nyamba ran tas that in Zembarche Shana water takona ran thoughts. Chame no la symptom ne logic to chone tal logic in the chone tal pal lama like gadinchi mando la trabahin. Medala cement, medala trapa, inside of
Atlantic.
medala trapa, hini, yamni lam janawa, yam malam janawa, nato. Yam malam janawa, nato la, datum da segging moto top. Ne pone. Ne sonkor perfect up. Ta yamana datam da segging auto top de part yana.
Drink it up. Yeah, my pillow cheek, Tana Gajile. I am cheating on North. That thing is don't bazaar something. They know that Mombo Norson. Yeah. Bardor, Germany, don't you? Kids, I did not get a Milarepa, get more shop at the kind. She does that Bardor, Germany, don't you do some Bamato, when get con, get neg, kids out at Jido. Yeah, Bardor, young hair, Gagius, I look forward to. I look forward to telling them, don't they, Della? Boy, I don't know where I got some of this stuff. Bardor, Jimmy, don't you? Kids, all right, get out your pencils, everybody. When I wonder. I understand, like, when I just misread things, because, it's in, it's handwritten manuscript. But with this song, when I translated this in 2000, I even got them from. They're not, I'll let you know when we get to it. Well, what I'm talking about, what needed to be corrected next, was the next line with which we're starting. For some reason, I wrote, I look forward to wandering in the illusory city of the Bardor. There's no I look forward to. It's simply when I wander in the illusory city of the Bardor. I don't know what made me, I don't know. Maybe a little cuckoo. So, next, Pema Tsewang describes his confidence with regard to the Bardor. And his confidence is based upon the level of practice that he's achieved and that he's described. And because of it, because Rinpoche said he's beyond a distinction between meditation and post-meditation, he has nothing to fear in the Bardor. So he says, when I wander in the illusory city of the Bardor, my mind, no self, will be, not is, without the root of bewilderment. Because he has realized that his mind is without a self, is selfless, there is no root or basis for delusion in the Bardor, because the cause of delusion has been expunged. He continues, my body will appear clearly as the real deity. Now, in this life, because he's perfected the generation stage to a point where there is no distinction in the intensity of his identification with his deity, no distinction between meditation and post-meditation, because it's constant, he is assured that when he arises as a mental body, if he even gets that far in the Bardor, his mental body will take the form of the deity, because he's achieved what basically the state of a fully ripened Vidyadhara. I want to test my skill in emanation and transformation. In the Bardor, like in dreams, but even more so, if one transforms oneself into a deity, one can transform other things as well, emanate countless forms of the same or other deities, transform things into different things. In other words, for him, if he even reaches the Bardor of becoming, it's going to be a lot of fun. So the revised translation is, when I wander in the illusory city of the Bardor, comma, my mind, no self, will be without the root of bewilderment. And will be. And then he continues with the things that he's come to realize. Now, up to this point, he's primarily talked about what he's experienced and the confidence that gives him. Now he's going to describe what he realizes, what he knows as a result of these experiences. First, he says, I know that all these external appearances are the play of mind. He has, based on his experience, he now knows that what appears to the mind is not outside or beyond the mind. I have realized that this internal awareness is unchanging, and the mind itself is nothing but an awareness that doesn't change. I understand that there is no border between meditation and subsequent attainment. So he understands, through having realized it, that there is no difference for him, or ultimately, between meditation and post-meditation. My mind's 6 groups arise without relinquishment or acceptance. The 6 groups are the 6 consciousnesses, the mental consciousness and the 5 sense consciousnesses, and their objects, the objects of the 5 senses and objects of mind. And he realizes that when these arise, they require no getting rid of anything or adding anything. So they're arising because it is simultaneous with recognition, renders relinquishment and acceptance irrelevant. Extrapolating from that, he says, there is nothing in all of samsara and nirvana to be accepted or rejected. In the state free of engagement in imputation, there is nothing to do. Here, this freedom from mental engagement is a term often used in meditation. And here he's specific. He's being free from mental engagement in imputation. In other words, any kind of belief or concept he's realized is an imputation of some kind. And in that state, which he has achieved, there is nothing to do. Why is there nothing for him to do? He continues, I remain without altering the nature. There's nothing beyond that to do. Since he's doing that, and since that does not involve doing anything, there's nothing for him to do. I understand that whatever arises is beyond being stopped or created. Being stopped or created is the way we normally respond to thoughts. If it's a bad thought, we try to stop it, get rid of it, suppress it. And if it's a good thought, then we try to promote it. We give it special status and we try to feed it. But he's realized that this is unnecessary. I have cast aside the deceptive dharmas of the indicative meaning. Generally, we divide the dharma or statements of dharma into two types of statements, indicative statements and definitive statements. Indicative statements are those that, while not literally true, lead one to the truth. Definitive statements are those that are just true as stated. And so here, Rinpoche said, by the deceptive dharmas of indicative meaning, he means any kind of philosophical statement, such as ontological concepts of existence and non-existence, any kind of concept that qualifies the nature, or really any kind of statement like that. I have taken the definitive meaning as my outlook. Having torn apart the net of dualistic appearances, I understand that appearances and mind are not two. Here, he uses a net or web as an analogy for a dualism. Any kind of dualism, Rinpoche said, like good, bad, here, there, near, far, up, down, all of it. And these concepts are like a net in that they bind us, they constrain us, they prevent us from being free. So having torn that apart, he understands that appearances and mind are not two. It is the net of dualism that causes us to mistakenly believe that appearances are one thing and mind is something else. Intoxicated by the liquor of the path of bliss emptiness, I have untied the knots of hope and fear. Because he's experienced bliss emptiness, which transcends thought or concepts, then he's transcended and untied the knots or habits of hope and fear. Having built the fortress of no distraction, I have destroyed or demolished the shack of thought. Because he uses buildings as an analogy for states of mind. And he compares a constantly undistracted awareness, which he has achieved, to a mansion or fortress, because it's impregnable, it's magnificent, it's pleasant to live in. And so having built that fortress, he doesn't need thought. And thought he describes as a shack or hovel. Having cultivated the practice of no fixation, the craving of fixation has vanished. because he's transcended any kind of conceptual apprehension or fixation, the craving to fixate has vanished. Having the meaning of nothing to do in mind, the bonds of imputation have been cut in resolution. Because he has resolved the nature, decided upon, or decisively realized the nature, the tendency to make imputations, to try and figure out a reality, has been severed. Through the kindness of my glorious Guru and deities, delight has been born in my heart. In the varied appearances of meditation and dreams, I have received introduction through symbols and words. Introduction here means introduction in the sense of pointing out. The nature has been pointed out to him in visions and in dreams.
Yeah, pomne songhol phoba kap. Yagi tag thing on ne. Kon nanjuro tiu katab jur. Tse rinchen. Hinu jenja jen stand there. Pen ne pomne sengete ne kong songhol kondo. Songhol phoba kapsula. Ta yajog tag thing ne tande ko ta ne naborin doktiga na sonjure thing ne. Kon nanjuro tiu katab jen nanjuro pa jen tiu katab jur ne teni tela namza tela rinchen hinu jenja jen tlechen do. Cha benda dosen tene chang che nanjuro chambo nde sol shi me cover sun in tone means that or
Milamre.
cha benda dose kawachi ta nanjo pa hinu ke namza jintege tene cha benda dose kawachi de ji namna te che nanjo pa chon de sol sen sung de ka sula te yong su zo ba de kong ke thwa tene malam ta song ne tu po deve yang ting ne ge chur je samjar de pe kap pal tu pa dor yin chang chen bo kon ting pe o rab dum bar so long jo lo ko so den pa ten kha la nya yin sa wan jar sta don tu ba dor yin chang chen jen do wa sem jo me sheb nyam bi char sem jo me sheb nyam bi char sem de ton la ndra me bar chur ta ten je yom ka so la khong ge to te la je me sheb ba ki nyam shan ne ten sem te de ton la ndra me ba chen chur song la long sem la ju ya chong shi sam le rengar good rengar ngo nyam na me je chago shimela thon de do to ba kan chong chang pa chele shwe yer ye me nge shefer je nyam ni dup ma dup tu ta dong to la dog war hyo ta de chen shu ba de dog war hyo se ba ga sa no shu pe.
So now he concludes his song with the description of a couple of specific experiences and what they led to. While offering a feast at Pomne, from within the rocks up there appeared a dancing blue yogin, adorned by jewels and leaves, holding a skull cup of amrita. He said to me, "Hey, great yogin, drink this." He gave it to me, and I drank it. I dreamed. So that was a dream. And then the next one sounds like it was not a dream. In a pleasant meadow at Tulku, while in virtuous retreat, in practice retreat, I saw the glorious sixth Buddha, Mahavajradhara, sky blue and blazing with marks and signs, wearing the Sambhogakaya attire, as vivid as a rainbow in the sky. An inexpressible experience arose. bliss and emptiness became inseparable in my mind. Henceforward, I knew how to cultivate wind mind or prana mind. So I would change that probably to since then I've known how to cultivate wind mind. And he concludes, sometimes agitation and sometimes vague, mist-like experiences have continued to arise, but really whatever thoughts of pleasure and pain occur, I have no one else to tell them to but you, Father. Have I achieved practice that can withstand death or not? Please continue to keep me in your heart. So in the end, his song all leads up to this one question. He's asking his father and guru, Terchen Barway Dorje, is what I have achieved enough that I will suffer no danger in death or the Bardor? Yes. So then we can use the rest of this afternoon for questions and answers, if you like.
Yes.
Can we use the microphone? So
I have, is it on? Yeah.
yeah.
On page 134, when it says, when I view this mind that views objects, in Tibetan, not that I know Tibetan, but I'm just interested, is it the same word for view each time?
I'd have to look. That the Pema Tsewang song got there now. It's before that. It's a bit down. Tajeji Kimbo. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it's the same. It's when I viewed or looked at, the mind that views or looks at objects, the viewer was lost in space.
So is there anything else to explain? Does Rinpoche want to talk about those two viewings? I don't know if that's a good question.
Yu taje samla tetsana taje chi kempo yingsu tor sewa ke donda te selpo sondonans.
Yola and the channel, the two number not about Della. From here, the son to be or the senna, something to be or the then not something and the channel, Yola time of Casala. Then in Yomba, get Nomto, Marik passing it, the Yomon, but Nomto, then something yonder of Capsula. Then Kona Zambota, Yambata, Gawata, Megawata. On the Ndepig number, the Mendepig number last about not topping another shatting in the was. Take what a semte Yolan trot the capsule, then Maripal, then trot the capsule, shaggy or then Mato Jig, Nom to Koran, same with Ranging, Mama Koran, Taguran, Yede, Mato Jig, Della, and Tondo can't take a semte Yomari. Somebody fuck one to join the true days. Then the castle Ella Gombala Yomne Chetan ended what?
Money. The
Yotaje Yotaje Sama Detana, on the tat, dig kabla, sem tege tene yola mata wache tene kora yola trot denking sem te kadendo rang tawanda bore sta one chena tase ge sem te tang te tam kenge tene sem te ni yomare tene ya rang ge sem te la tene sem ke tene chen ta yung du kapsula tene sem ge ngo te la ta yung kapsula ta je jin kembo yin store sen ta song de kare de sen na ta sem khona yoma de sa wa yin sem men du kapsula khona ta kha che de ma to che ge ta je one de ta wa yin de men du kapsula te rang yin ge tene khona tong ba yin su la ya song wa sen na ya do yin su to song wa sen na ya do yin su chor song wa sen na ya do ton ta la ma du para rangyo ka ha ko tu bi yo de ta te song de yo de
What Pema Tsewang is talking about here is the relationship between objects of experience and the mind, and ultimately the mind's, we could say, relationship to or with itself. Obviously, it is our minds alone that experience what we call objects or appearances. And it is our minds that look at them as one thing or another. It is our minds that view them as what we call them. So our minds view different objects as pleasant or painful, good or bad, beautiful or ugly. And all of these designations, imputations, or views or outlooks the mind adopts toward objects are delusion. Which is simply to say, Rinpoche said that these attributes do not exist within the objects themselves. They are projections. They are the mind's deluded projections. Now, this delusion that comes into play or that arises when your mind looks at an object is not innate to the mind. It is not the mind's nature. It is not natural, in fact. It is a symptom of ignorance. Therefore, when the mind does not look at objects, but looks at itself directly, which is a state temporarily where ignorance is at least dormant or suspended, it doesn't see itself as a thing, because there is no such thing as mind. So when the mind looks at itself, you could say it sees its own non-existence, sees that it does not exist. And Pema Tsewang describes this experience as the mind disappearing, or as he says, being lost in space. The mind seems to exist as long as it's looking at things other than itself, because of the delusion that causes objects to appear to possess the attributes we project onto them, also causes the mind to seem to exist. But when the mind looks at itself, it discovers that it doesn't and has never existed.
Yes.
This is a question from online. Just wait. Rinpoche, is a situation when many people die at the same time, is there anything a dying Buddhist practitioner can do to help others make a positive transition through the Bardor? Or is it every person for him or herself? This is a very hypothetical question, And I usually try to avoid those, but I'm genuinely curious about what that experience might be like.
So you mean if the practitioner, him or herself, is dying at the same time as a lot of other people, can they at that time help the others? Is that the question?
As it's online, I'm hoping that this person's hearing it and they will reply. But the problem is...
No, but did you say that? Did I hear you
All right,
correctly?
so let me just go. I'm going to just read it again.
Okay.
Rinpoche, in a situation when many people die at the same time, is there anything a dying Buddhist practitioner
yeah,
can
all
do
right.
to help
Okay.
others?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you said dying
Yeah.
or not. Okay, yeah. I'm not saying it's because of your accent that I couldn't understand you.
of course
No.
not.
I would never say that.
No, you wouldn't, would you?
No. I'm not saying it's not because of your accent. Dire la. Da mi mombo du chik de shi song mo yana. De zo shi ken ge kong so chu nyam su len ken chik yana. Kong ge shenda du nyam du shiva ge shenda zo Bardor kap so pempa kang tu zo tu gre be.
Tate kona shikin konange labanda tela ralegro.
So
Ngone thane kita kona labo kana khandam leb denge je yonani tenne zo thobure tenya tanyo tan yo ma tanje kon de hyu thong as jebo thamba tam je penna ta ton do ka so ten shiwar shik shen la pe ten shego sen nganan so ke shi je shego sen ken tela tenne kona anta menje thano ko te kona chenga ke kunzo ke ka ke chopa sen nganan so zo ri ta te ke kapsula tenne kone ke ko te tela ndawa re debe ke tenne shikon ta te ke nan mese ke ta shibo te tu kabla yoba yonzo le ya tenne pe masiban do don tenne ja chimbo zege de sen la sumas ta pe te ta bre one te shingen te ke na Salam Nabia Kana Kanton top dengue, Paduk Nero Kana Kanton, she dengue, Yona, Tenten, Takoro, Yana, Tate, Tanda, Tojo take the Zoton Gogova, Maturango, Tom the ticket to the Calerelli, or Tenda what is one attendant to days. Tuba
yes. It depends, however, upon the level of the dying practitioner. If the person has reached a level of where they are in full command of themselves in the Bardor, recognize what's going on, and are able to transform and emanate, as described by Pema Tsewang in his song, then definitely they can and will help beings. It's partly in order to facilitate this, to support this aspect of activity, that for the 49 days after the death of a holy being, whereas for an ordinary person, we'd use those 49 days to pray for them. In the case of a holy being, we use those 49 days to pray to them. And the offerings we make, what are usually translated in English as funerary offerings and so on, actually in Tibetan we refer to them as the fulfillment of intentions. The purpose in making offerings to a recently deceased awakened being is that what would be the Bardor for other people is an opportunity for them to engage in astounding deeds by which they can liberate countless other beings. Their activity becomes more effective even among the living, but especially if other beings are in the Bardor, if have died at the same time as that holy being, they're in a very, very good spot, because that holy being will liberate and provide incredible assistance to the many of them.
变成破别路说，那这边的修全部用的，
Yes.
变成说这个南门的我的旁门的我，同什么人呢？真的你旁边个做起来个大什么他们的，同那个卡在有啊的他们的了，真的可能的话的的东汉的他都参加过嘛，他这个同讲有哪路去生根的我真的我那忙不修路所要的。
And it's also very much part of the tradition in Tibet to ask living teachers to assist. Lama Sompola, Shuya, living teachers to assist recently deceased relatives. So if one of your parents dies, for example, you would go to a realized being and ask that they intervene on behalf of the deceased parent or other relative.
Okay, I just have one quick thing, and then I'm going to, just somebody wrote, I just want to mention there is a book called Delog. Many years ago, Chedrak Tulku's mom saw a Lama in the Bardor saving other beings due to the extent of the Lama's own previous aspiration.
Yeah, it was Chadut Tulku's mother. Chadut Tulku's mother.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Delok.
Thank you so much for your teaching. I have actually a couple questions, and maybe I'm going to get into trouble for asking, but
Well, good.
yes, this getting back to this seeing your mind, and also being in samsara. I mean, wouldn't it be dangerous? Let's say you're driving in a car and there's another car not too far from you, and you saw okay. I mean, I can understand in one sense how the mind does not exist. I really do. But in samsara, it seems like if I looked at my mind and I said, okay, you know, what is this, a delusion, that car in front of me, then I might bump into it and cause all kinds of trouble, you know. And so I think, I don't know, I'm just curious about how, you know, I mean,
No.
yeah.
Da sem jinelo ngonsum tongken soge ge dedrawa yana gene konso gadri tona nyenka tsabo yosares. Gadri jene sem jingo tong somba na shando de ngonsum tona dene rang gadri tonge do de ena gadri yore de drengamare kayan drengamare dene de donate moge sambala de sem mepa ngonsum tona dene dramba la dogre se.
Take a lay on the sun.
Lasa.
Unetanic that will get Kora Nello to the king comes out on the ina. Then in Conde Nello thing around solid Tanda and Kona Yata Mamboga surgery, Mado Jig, Tenikona, Chana non donking, Pajong, Gatti, the Jai Yong, and tended out what in other the dog was, the young mother was, and then young Sigma is.
That doesn't happen. Because the nature of realization is that someone who realizes the nature of samsara and nirvana, the nature of all things, actually is hundreds of times more aware of what's around them than we are. So they'd be better drivers, no worse drivers.
Okay, thank you.
Conde Yemetos and Lavadi.
Yeah. Because don't forget, we refer to that realization as the realization of the non-duality or inseparability of samsara and nirvana. And that doesn't mean some kind of soup where you pour in the samsara and then you pour in the nirvana and mix them together.
The other question has to do with something I've been meditating on a lot, because I've had these little ants every year. And I found out that it was probably more compassionate to kill them right away before they multiplied into 1,000,000. Then I'd have to kill 1,000,000. But anyway, what I did see is that little ant, which you can, in this case, can hardly see it. When I would go to get rid of its life, and it would run away. It had the instinct to stay alive. So here we are, we're dying, and if we're lucky and we've done our practice, we can do this practice you just described. But is that instinct? I mean that's a tiny little ant, and we're not very big, maybe compared to the whole universe, but we're a lot bigger than an ant. Is that, what is that?
The instinct of self-preservation?
Yeah, like.
Okay. That ant gets sick, drinking though. That don't like ant, right? More ant, cause it says something.
Yeah.
Se go to so. The nyung kapsa sena dene mompo se go kumendo se. That don't like the antique sebe kapsa the ko more yonder ko pa drusons. Ko pa drupala tene korange rang sungcho ge namto yopadas. Chadon sa sonno tomayena ngatso ge sentient chewa garik. Dene de bu chung de so ge bata sentient samala range so chopa range songwa ge namto yore. De karere.
Che yong semi horo.
De lesa.
Kondo tamala semi honde tene tana kana mama musin chung ina ya. Se korana semi yode nganan to na yin ngamta nganan to na yin sung job zo ya da. Tate yong so ba tamala yore.
Well, it's because they have minds, just like ours. And so, therefore, they have the same capacity for fear and the same instinct for self-preservation.
Thank you, Rinpoche. I have kind of a silly question. As far as meditating, putting the guru on the top of your head as I go about the day, I'm not quite sure if there's a particular recommendation of how to visualize that. I've been just putting the lions directly on my head, and then a nice throne, and then the guru. But is it floating? Because I took it kind of literally on the crown.
Okay. Yeah. The gender, the Chunsamsu, the gender Lama Chitsuk, the Gom Sevake, Danga Yore. Da Koronge, the Zawe Lama, the Sengechi Tot Shoba Gongi Yore. Then the Senge, the Tsoke, Kanpa Koronge Gola, the Tukba Daochi Gongi Yore. De Gomna Degirepe Yana, the Yatek Gogido.
Da Chetange Gomya Tela Sar Yenda Tomba, Ton Yenda Sava, Ton Sarge, Rangi Gombogri, Matanganatoge, Jolly Shatan to the Vanda when you go Chambo, then Ngola Makamba song and I was in the computer money. That then that was gone the Kapsala Kona Ta Chanake Kagata the Jagona, Tele Chabashida, you did the thing,
It probably doesn't matter. What matters is to understand that when we imagine or meditate on things like that, that it's as vivid as the image may be, it's also empty, empty of true existence. So don't think of it as a flesh and blood thing. As long as you don't think of them as solid or flesh and blood, it's probably okay if the lions have their little paws on your...
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Te mato jege tene Thakur rangi gomna huma tambe yore.
Oh, let's
Tene Lama chicken jigje gom.
jig go. All right.
Jigje chambo ra yoba gom Thakur nana gom de ka ra ya so short. Sawani ne tharo maze.
Let's.
Obje chambo yong lo ju yore.
De dang yang de jepa dorje gong ken che chap chudo ke de nyota. There are stories of lamas getting into trouble through solidification of visualizations. There was the one very famous one was about a lama who was meditating on the form of Yamantaka called Vajrabharava. And Vajrabharava has the one face, at least, is that of a water buffalo, and he has the horns of a water buffalo projecting outward and upward. And this guy got so good at this image that he was trapped in his cave because the horns were sticking into the ceiling of the cave and he couldn't move. And then there was another guy who was meditating on the 16-armed form of Hevajra and who had a similar problem that he couldn't get through the door because the arms with all the kapalas, it was just, he couldn't, I mean, how would you do it? He couldn't figure out how to, so, yeah, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Yes.
My question is from the first song. It explains what we do at death and visualizing the ejection through the avaduti. But it doesn't say, is that something we're supposed to practice to get ready for death, or this is a one-shot deal? Like, you better just know how to do it at the time.
The danang dak the ngadoga songo dombo de to the yana powa ge mekpa songi yore. Powa ge mekpa de powa janya ge mekpa yanam lela jore mekpa kona yanam kanare. Janya. It's primarily for practicing, so that you can do it when the time comes. Low.
Không có được cao sự là thế cho ta cái đến đây cho nên tàu ba mươi gom làm mà tàu ba mươi em ba gom ta tên làm phò gì nhưng mà cái xong một na hết cả giáo ta đến đây cho nên ta không chịu cái đó.
Yeah, ejection has to be practiced. You have to practice it until you gain the ability. And the practice is, in this case, the same as the application at the time of death. It involves visualizing your guru in the form of Amitabha, thank you, above your head, and ejecting your consciousness repeatedly into him while saying hik and so on.
I have a follow-up. I generally consider myself very ineffective at doing most practices, so I'm not too scared, but this one sounds like, this one sounds a little dangerous, like if I actually do it or if I do it wrong, this could...
Don't worry. And not because you're not effective. People have this concern about the ejection of consciousness. And indeed, there are some systems in which you just go up to the top of the head and don't go beyond that. But in this tradition, in most traditions, you actually go out and you come back, and you go out and you come back. The difference between practice and application is when you're applying, you just go out, you don't come back. You don't actually, even when you achieve the practice, let's say, when you get to the point, your consciousness doesn't actually leave your body because you're not dying. And the fact that your consciousness doesn't actually fully exit your body when you practice this does not mean that it won't work. It will work when you're dying because your consciousness is kind of wobbly and loose. You know, the screws are not tight. anymore. But it is also taught that when you achieve the successful ability to eject, then you keep on doing it, but only once or so a day. But it's not going to kill you. It's not going to.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is another one from online. I believe that towards the end of this morning's teaching, Rinpoche stated that if we can effectively rest in mind's nature, there's nothing else that needs to be done. It seems that this is possible for extremely brief moments, and then equilibrium is soon lost. What is an effective method for extending our ability to rest in our mind's nature?
Chedonso semji neloke ngondo nyampa shak tubna.
Tatella to Tong Ya Tumna, Tong Ya Kona Tong Ya Tanga Saya to the was. Then it in bag and the commune with the was. Mato take a pache, Tangwan, Ringbo Ya Tonkin, that big combo.
Can you hear? Can you hear me? What Rinpoche said is that actually that's understood. That once we learn to rest in our mind's nature, we can only do so for very brief periods. The practice in such cases is to do that, rather than attempting to stretch it out, to rest in your mind's nature for a brief period many, many times every day. So instead of trying to prolong the state of rest, to increase the number of times that you do it. And by doing that, by doing it more often rather than attempting to prolong the periods themselves, the periods will gradually prolong themselves. If you attempt to force your mind to rest in its own nature longer than you can, it won't be good, and it won't work. It won't prolong it. So is to do it many times for brief periods, and this is normal. Very few people, Rinpoche said, can start out resting in their mind's nature for a prolonged period. And this is why in meditation instruction, so much is made of the distinction between meditation and post-meditation. Strictly speaking, in that context, meditation is simply when your mind is resting in its own nature, and everything else is post-meditation. And so there needs to be the alternation between the two.
On page 133, in the close to the beginning. It says, joyously recollect virtue. No wrongdoing to be without essence, empty. Joyously recollect virtue's benefits. Why is virtue? Why do we not find out that virtue is empty? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Do they have not the same consequences?
Okay, we'll have to go to the Tibetan. Yuwa lagen
Kalari.
de ngadroge gotsoksa nere. Yuwa lagen. Okay. Chona yuwa lagen. Dekbar. De ketare ise. Chedonso gewa dan dekba tombani yempa memba de chikpares. Yenang dekba la dekba ranje mepa tong sheja. Gewa la dema sompa gewa penyun jempe gawa gom sompa. Chedonso de gewa ge penyun jenne gawa gom na dene dekba ge nimik jenne. Choa gom gokumandoe. Deka so dema sompa de Dikpa de ranjin tompani yempa, gewa de ranjin tompani ma yempa ke zoptra da dose.
Tā tila tiki yawa imanda ase, chitangi dikpa senghen te, kaanga zogu yore sena ngone tana ngana tsuke sem nyomo pake wandu churbeke sem teki zogu yore wase, ngone ke koran dikpa zonghen da bote. Te yendu kapsula dikpa koran la rangi tsawanyi na yomari. Dikpa te sem kizhige pare. Te yendu dikpa koran la teni nga dikpa yinza senghen da bote. So the top thinking chiki dikpa ki rangi tsawanyi na yomari. Medu kapsula zonghen ganga te sem kizogu yore. Te yendu kapsula dikpa rangi mepa, dikpa rangi te tongpa yinba shebar chase na songari mato cheke dikpa tila dibjong mugo songmu wase. Te koran netan kagare isi. Ta gewa ina teni gewa ge penyon te tembe korni teni gawa gom songdu wase. Gewa la ina ta koran gewa rangi te a teni tongpa re isi. Teni ina chebar yoma re isi. Dikpa rangi te tongpa re, gewa rangi te tongpa re isi. Teni ina chebar mewa re isi. Mewa re te tongpa yina yang teni gewa tila koran penyon yo re isi. Teni gewa sabi ki ndewa chebatum papa penyon yo ba la teni. Teni penyon ta dembe ki ta tongpa ki rangin te zeba tila gawa goms. Teni penyon ta tarwe ki dikbi rangin zeba tila teni tongpa yinba ngo shibar chi isi songa re mato ngo shibar chi songa sam re mato tila dibjong mugo wa ma re isi. Teni gogo yo re isi.
This is complicated because I can't read my notes with my glasses on and I can't read the book with my glasses off. And plus they're bifocals and we know all about that. Okay, 133. The reason why in the line, no wrongdoing to be without essence, empty, and there's an emphasis on the emptiness of wrongdoing. And in this following line, joyously recollect virtues, benefits, or goodnesses, good deeds, benefits, there's an emphasis on the beneficial aspect of good deeds or virtue. Is not to imply either that purification of wrongdoing is unnecessary or that virtue is not as empty as wrongdoing. It's to point out something, the emphasis on emptiness in the wrongdoing line is to point out something about emptiness, about wrongdoing, which is the key to its purification. And that is the fact that wrongdoing has no nature. It has no essence. It isn't a thing. It's not a thing. Wrongdoing is what we call stuff our minds do, or our minds get our speech and bodies to do, when our minds are under the power of kleshas. So because we don't like the results of those acts, we call them wrongdoing. But wrongdoing itself is not a thing. It has no nature. Rinpoche said, wrongdoing can't come up to you and introduce itself. Say, hi, I'm wrongdoing. How are you? That doesn't happen. There's no person or thing out there wrongdoing. It's what your mind does. So it's important to remember, in the context of purification, that purification works because wrongdoing is empty, because it has no true existence. So rather than this being a statement that, oh, forget about it, doesn't matter, it's not saying that. It's saying, yes, it needs to be purified, but it can be purified because it's empty of true existence. And by recollecting that fact, purification becomes a more powerful. Well, why don't we recollect, why aren't we encouraged, as you asked in your question, to equally recollect the emptiness of virtue? Because what we want with virtue is to increase it. And the way to increase it is to rejoice in it. Any action in which we rejoice increases the moral force of that action. So if you rejoice in wrongdoing, that's bad. But if you rejoice in something good you've done, or something good someone else has done, that's very, very good. So wrongdoing and right doing or virtue or whatever we call it are equally empty. Their nature is no different, but one of them is useful. And so therefore we want to reflect upon its usefulness, because by recollecting its usefulness, we increase it. Just as by recollecting the emptiness of wrongdoing, we are encouraged to purify.
So the usefulness is not diminished by its emptiness? It's not invalidated or...
Gewa ke penyon yushindu gewa rangjinji tombarebe. Yep, exactly. While virtue has all the benefits it does, or brings all the benefits it does, it is nevertheless empty in nature. Oh, this song is Chunan Juma Tabola, Nana, Juma Tabu Chunana, Juma Taba Gomjana, Juma Taba Monsanja, Mugu Topchi Drupajor Sompat. For example, it's recognized that there's a saying, Rinpoche referred to two sayings. One is, through illusory deeds, we gather illusory merit. But illusory merit is useful. And then there's another saying that is, all things are like magical illusions. By meditating upon them as like magical illusions, you will achieve Buddhahood that is like a magical illusion. This will be accomplished through devotion.
from it. Sorry, these aren't all my questions. They're from online. Just
You get the blame anyway.
so, I'm going to actually add two together because they're very similar. So the first person asked, to practice poa, are the instructions given today sufficient, or do we need to receive further instruction? And if so, how can we get that?
Oh, okay.
Then should I do the next one? So
No, because if you ask two questions, then only the second will get answered.
Okay.
The dering ne the sungo ne somba ge pawa ge mekpa de pawa jongju la de samje digirebe.
Tetango de Gamari.
Lasso.
Cotiga, Conambeke, and Gorganani Yama, Song Yalinganato, Codevari Mato Jigan, Onege, Lameke, and Poa Chiguri Mato, taken Nigmari.
No. The instructions given in the song are not sufficient instruction to actually practice the ejection of consciousness. You need to be formally trained in it by a Lama. Did that get rid of the other question too?
No, then the next one is hearing this in my head. Poa practice, the second question was, they've heard that Poa practice shortens life. Might you need some long life practice to mix with that?
Powa jongju de tsela nyenkayore. Tse zengirebe.
Tate and Gareke, then it said them the Nantonwa.
Nangdo.
Tankona Poa Yang Tadu. Said
Sidro.
them the Nantonwas. They only Tanegi. No way, young and answer Sangre doing that they can Yamuhamas.
There is a custom of once you've practiced ejection to the point of proficiency, thereafter doing a longevity sadhana retreat, yes. But Rinpoche said, I'm not sure whether it's because it does actually pose a danger to your longevity or simply because we worry it might. But there is a custom. Yeah.
Actually, going back to the other, because she said, if we do need instruction, how can we get that? Well, from a Lama, will we give that one day?
Powa ge treat de kanne toge desu.
Starting at the Tagazona Tanda Teni and now Shagmandos.
We'll see. I can't say right now.
Okay.
He's mouthing stuff at me, and I don't know. I have trouble here. Oh. Yes. Unless there are any other questions, I think we're done. Yes, I'm at it. No?
Yeshe, Tamba Kunye, Taparasho, Rinpoche, Maje, Banam, Jejuro, Jepa, Yamba, Mem, Kone, Pel, Tamje, Deda, Dangerous. Tamje, Tado, Tombara, Sho, Chanjo, Samba, Kanda, Sayo, Teda, Kunje, Manamando, Bara, Sanche, Rejem, Donde, Tambe, Kara, Jagan, Yara, Dandara, Lemba. Sabje me jon devo sa Siye sondara Thank you. Thank you.